Friends, today the city is in a festive mood as the winner of the city's biggest lottery, carrying a prize of $1 million, is about to be announced. Meanwhile, a sad man quietly arrives, and the assistant shows him his seat. He sits anxiously in his seat, waiting for the announcement. A large shuffling cage, containing numerous lottery tickets, is brought in. The host draws one and calls out a name. Everyone is overjoyed, but the man is deeply saddened because the host called his name. He gets up, leaves, and angrily starts throwing snowballs at the church, breaking the glass and cursing God. The church priest comes out, but he curses and throws snowballs at him too. Meanwhile, the police arrive and arrest him. It's here that we learn that the man Frank is a brother who is also a police officer. The inspector asks him about his actions, to which he replies, "You won't believe what I'm about to tell you, Koi Him." He then begins to recount his childhood story from years ago. Who was this man who remains unhappy even after winning a lottery of $6 million? We'll learn about this in today's story. The story begins in New York in the 1960s, when Frank was born. His father, also named Frank, is overjoyed to see him and names him Frank Jr. Frank grows up, and one day he becomes excited to see a news bulletin board in his building. He tells him that it broadcasts national news. Little Frank asks if his name can appear there. Seeing this, his dad smiles and says, "When you achieve something big or become famous, your name will definitely be there." Back then, there were only two ways to become famous. Either work hard and earn a lot of money, or take the shortcut and become rich by joining the mafia, like the mafia leader Tucci in their neighborhood. Although at that time, Italians often looked up to mafia leaders and aspired to emulate them. But his dad convinces him that he should stay away from them and be a good person in life. Even if the money is small, it should be hard work, because ultimately, it will allow him to sleep peacefully at night. Despite his unwillingness, he somehow ends up getting involved with the mafia. His childhood friend, Jimmy, whose own father was in a mafia gang, was also involved. One day, while playing, they find a camera. So to earn some money, they go to sell it to a second-hand shop. But the shopkeeper offers them only dollars, and little Jamie scares him away with his dad's name. Seeing this, the shopkeeper nervously gives him $10. Time shifts again, and today, Frank's older brother, Vito, also graduates and becomes a policeman, attending a police ceremony. His father is proud of him, but Frank's life remains stagnant. He spends his days hanging out with his useless friends. The first was Lenny, who cracked bad jokes all the time. The second was Don, who wanted to be a singer, but was actually quite out of tune. The third was Rocky, who always focused on food. The fourth was Sal, who spit even while speaking. And finally, his childhood friend, Jamie, who often suggested shortcuts to making money, often involving robbing a store or engaging in other illegal activities. His father, Frank Sr., had sold his trucking business due to losses during the Depression and was now driving trucks for another company. Consequently, his father often urged him to find work. But he always avoided work by distracting his dad with his fantasies. Now, a few years later, they all moved from their small house in New York to Queens. This was his dad's dream, for which he had saved up money by driving overtime for many years. He loved his small garden more than his house. And now he wanted to save some money and plant imported European grass outside the house. Coming home, he gets angry at Frank again for ordering a $7 pizza. Seeing this, his dad says, "If you make pizza at home, you can make a whole pizza for $1. But you're unemployed." And here we see Frank's sister, Madeline, who used to pick fights over every little thing. Her dad says, "Who would marry you with your behavior like this?" But after some time, she too gets married to a man named Tony. The whole family has settled down, except Frank. After a while, everyone was worried because the Vietnam War had begun, and many boys from their neighborhood had joined. Seeing this at his father's insistence, Frank went with his friends to enlist in the army, because after that he would be settled and at least get an army pension. But everyone there was only 18-year-old boys. Seeing this, the entry head became upset and tried to silence them by abusing them. The first thing the training head said, as soon as he arrived, was that anyone who had ever been to jail and was currently out on bail should stand aside. We then saw almost all the boys get up and stand aside. They were sent home, and the rest were put in line for admission. Frank, unsure of what they were testing him for, asked the training head what he was testing him for, as he hadn't come prepared. The head replied, "Are you out of your mind? It's a urine test, and no preparation is required for it." He asks Frank, "You're asking questions like a child. Do you even have a high school diploma?" He denies it, but the very next day, the training head comes yelling at him, asking why he wrote yes on the admission form when he doesn't have a high school diploma. Frank replies that he does have one, but it's at home. Seeing this, Frank is expelled from the training center, which worries his father and brother. His father says that since Frank hasn't achieved even this much in life, his father will have to keep him at home and feed him for the rest of his life. But he was the youngest and most beloved son of the family, so he laughs it off and leaves. But in time, his luck changes and he gets a job in customer service at the train station, and now, along with the job, he has a girlfriend. Perhaps his life is now completely settled. Perhaps not. Because he lacked the patience to handle customers, he yelled at one customer and was fired from that job. Back home, his dad jokingly congratulates him, saying that at least Frank in their family has a job, even if it was for 5 months. But Frank retorts that he's a man with big vision and that such menial tasks are probably not his destiny. Hearing this, his family begins to mock him again. Irritated by their jokes, he leaves, saying he'll have dinner with Maria. At least she won't make fun of him. His dad tells him to stay away from Maria, as she lived in a Spanish neighborhood where Italians were not welcome. His dad warns him that Maria will get him into trouble one day, but he ignores them and leaves. He then comes to see Maria off after dinner and kisses her. But as soon as he emerges, one of Maria's cousins stabs him and runs away, telling him to stay away from his sister. Frank screams for help and is immediately taken to the hospital. His entire family arrives, and the doctor explains that they've never seen a case like this before and that it's probably for his own good, because Frank had grown extra skin in the exact spot where he was stabbed. If he hadn't been stabbed today, he could have died of asphyxiation within a few years. But Frank was apprehensive because the doctor also had a condition that prevented him from looking down. Frank expressed his concern about the operation to his father, but his father said that he was the best doctor in all of New York and that he had also operated on his Uncle Ernie. Frank retorted that Uncle Ernie had died long ago. His father laughed and replied that Uncle Ernie later died of another illness, but his operation had gone perfectly. After a few days, he recovers and returns to his normal life. He meets his friends at a local bar owned by Folly, who often fell asleep while chatting. Folly tells him that he's been reborn and that his luck will shine soon, and goes back to sleep. He hadn't achieved much in life through hard work, so he decides to take a shortcut and quickly earn money and fame. The next day, at Johnny's urging, he joins his friends in the extortion business. Surprisingly, even the police don't speak ill of the mafia. Jimmy's father was in a mafia gang, and on Jimmy's recommendation, he joins the gang. After earning a little money, he and his brother Vito share the money and buy a new car. Life is slowly getting back on track, but his father is still angry with him, telling him that he's doing these odd jobs. But if you live with the mafia all your life, you'll definitely be killed one day. Frank says it's just a matter of time. He'll make a lot of money and quit this job. Here, we learn that the real reason his dad was upset was that he hadn't won the lottery again. His dad had been saving some money every month after his salary to buy lottery tickets for years, but he had never been lucky. Frank says there's nothing like the lottery and goes inside. One day, all the banks are closed due to a national holiday. Frank needs change. So he goes to the same secondhand shop, but the shopkeeper tells him he'll have to buy something. This will earn him money, and Frank will get his change. Frank buys a lottery ticket for $2 because it was the cheapest thing there. The story continues, and a few days later, Frank is surprised when he sees that his name has been selected among the top 10 finalists for lottery winners and that his luck is about to shine. He cries with joy. But only one of those 10 people will receive the lottery prize. He returns home and is about to tell his mother and brother about this when his father comes in shouting, "People made fun of him, but he's going to win the lottery." His father thought he had been selected on the final list, but in reality it was his son's name in the newspaper, not his own. Both father and son share the same name, but when he learns the truth, he's a little saddened. He's been buying lottery tickets for the past 10 years, but he hasn't won a single one. But his son, who used to dismiss the lottery as nonsense, had lucked out with just one ticket. Now news spreads like wildfire throughout the neighborhood that Frank's luck has changed since that operation. And whatever he tries, he'll surely succeed. So to make quick money, his friends start taking him to underground gambling dens. He's playing so well that the mafia leader, Ducci, fearing losing money, abuses him and drives him away. Sometime later, Frank's father finds himself short of money because he doesn't accept money from his two sons. He tells Frank he needs money, but he can't explain the reason. We'll find out later. He then suggests leaving the car he bought somewhere, and after receiving the insurance money, he'll go about his business. Frank finds the plan futile, but given his father's insistence, he agrees. The next night, they park the car in a deserted area and break the window to make it appear stolen and get the insurance money. However, the police find the car the next day and bring it back to them. This saddens the trio, who now have to find another way to earn money. They then drown the car in a nearby lake the next day and go to the insurance company to file a complaint. But before they can do so, the insurance agent receives a call, informing them that the police have found their car. Seeing this, their father becomes angry at them, saying, "How crazy are you to drown the car in a nearby lake?" He angrily curses them and tells them to go home. Friends, let me tell you that Frank's dad had borrowed $100 from the local mafia, Tochi, to feed his family after his trucking business collapsed. But due to his passion for the lottery, he had squandered it all. Now, Tochi was repeatedly harassing him to pay the money back. When he returns home, he doesn't tell Frank the real reason. He instead says he had a strange dream last night in which he saw some numbers, and that today he's going to buy a lottery ticket using those numbers. The numbers in my dream must be a sign from God to make him rich, he says. When he returns at midnight, Frank asks him if he won. His dad, refusing to give a direct answer, says he's both won and lost. He explains that he made about $100 from gambling $400, but he became too proud of his numbers, so the next time he placed a bet, he lost it all. Hearing this, Frank becomes furious and says he only had $400, which he trusted him with. But because of his greed, he lost even after winning $100. An argument ensues, causing his father to have a panic attack and collapse. After his father is hospitalized, Frank is deeply saddened by his father's neglect of his problems and his verbal abuse. This begins to change him somewhat. After his father recovers, he is brought back home, and Frank becomes serious about life, finding a job for himself, and starting a sales position at a toy manufacturing company. One evening, local mafia member Tucci meets him and tells him that his father borrowed $1,000 from him some time ago, which he has yet to repay. He also praises Frank, saying that after watching his game that day, he realized that Frank's luck was very good. He asks Frank for his lottery ticket in exchange, for which he will forgive his father's entire debt, and gives him a 4-hour grace period, saying that mafia members never forget their debts. If he doesn't give them the lottery ticket, his father will have to pay the price. Returning home, he looks at his father silently and realizes that while his father had some flaws, everything he did was to provide for his family. But he had to make a decision quickly, as the lottery winner was to be announced that evening. Then, while he was at the bar with his friends, Don Tucci's men came to him again and threatened him to give them the lottery ticket or repay his father's dollar loan. They laughed now. The threat was directly from Don Tucci. Because of this, even his friend Jamie couldn't help him. He panicked and ran back to his house, where everyone was getting ready for the lottery announcement party. The first thing he asked was where his father was. He told his father that he would be the only one attending the lottery announcement that day. His father asks him why, but he rudely tells him it's his lottery ticket, and he doesn't want anyone to come with him to the party. His behavior shocks the entire family. Frank, however, didn't go to the lottery announcement, instead leaving and giving his ticket to Don Tucci's driver to avoid hurting his father. Frank now compromises his happiness for his father's safety. He tells the police that he went to the lottery announcement and found out he had won. But what good is it now? Don Tucci has the ticket. He apologizes to the police and his father for his behavior and says he wants to go home. His father withdraws his complaint and the police escort him home. However, as he enters the house, he finds a party underway, and everyone is congratulating him, believing him to be the winner. But he wasn't happy, because only he knew the truth. His father was congratulating him when Don Tucci arrived and began threatening Frank. Seeing this, Frank asked why he had come to his house since he had already given him the lottery ticket, to which Don Tucci replied that he hadn't found any. Frank's father smiled and interrupted, saying that perhaps he had made many mistakes in life. But for the first time, he had done something right because he couldn't let his mistake take away his son's lifelong happiness. He congratulated Frank and, in a loud voice, told Don Tucci that his son was now a millionaire. He would repay Don Tucci's loan with full interest. Don Tucci fell silent. Frank, incredulous, asked his father how he had gotten the ticket. He replied that the man he had given the ticket to was Don Tucci's driver, but first a childhood friend. Frank meets the man and thanks him for his gesture and hugs him. His father then comes to him and gives him his lottery ticket, saying that he always considered Frank irresponsible, but today he traded his lottery ticket for him. He expresses his heartfelt gratitude and embraces him. His father asks him, "What will you do first now that you have so much money?" He smiles and says that he'll first go to college, graduate, and do something better in life. His father smiles at this. We then see Frank fulfill the promise he made to his father as a child. His name appears on the bulletin board, announcing him as a lottery winner, and congratulations are offered, concluding the story. Thank you all for staying with us until